Good morning, Selmo. What's happening, man? I ask you straight up. You think Ohio State's still the best team in college football? I don't know about that, Selmo. I'm going to say I'll tell you later. But the committee is going to drop those rankings tonight. And I will say this, Ohio State, they started out the season number one as defending champion. And Texas was supposed to be all that and 3 bags of chips. They turned out to be a dud, but they got by them. So they've answered every question so far. So right now, I don't know about everybody else, but Ohio State will have that number one ranking with this first selection. It'd be interesting to see where all those other teams fall. Some of the teams that look like they were going to do something. Miami, they falling off the wagon. Tennessee is falling off the wagon. Oklahoma, I never had any confidence in Venables in the first place, even though they are playing a lot better. Dangerous teams out there. SEC, Texas A&M look pretty good. Ole Miss is more dangerous than you think. Georgia's got a lot of heart and a lot of fortune. They're going to be hard to beat. And Alabama, of course, but I don't think Alabama is, when it comes down to the playoffs, I don't have a feeling that they're going to last very long. I've been saying in the comments about LSU coach firing. A lot of that has to do with him not getting along, him not being ingratiated by the fans, and it's because pretty much he's from the North. It doesn't make a difference how many games he wins. As soon as he loses a game, then he's incompetent. And then you lose 2 games, not only is he incompetent, but he's not one of us. I said the same thing's going to happen to Kellen DeBoer. He lost to Florida State. Oh, everybody wanted to fire him. Get him out of here. One lady even said, we're going to play, if I had $70 million, I'm going to play the lotto and give Alabama the money to get rid of it. Hadn't lost the game since. And everybody's saying he's the greatest coach in the world. Our coach ain't going nowhere is what he told me. And as soon as he loses a game in the playoffs, then all that talk about him being fired is going to spark right up. So you just mark my words because it's coming. Selmo says, I would like to see Ohio State play CU just for the fun of it. I mean, Colorado, well, right now, that's not a good matchup. Colorado is not very good. They reverted back defensively the way they looked the first year he had. He just didn't have the horses. And you don't have a good NIL class. And he's got young people at quarterback. There's some talent there. They're just not ready to play yet. And some of the mistakes that they're making it's not a true Division I team. Well, I won't say that because they have won Division I games. I say they're a lower team. They're playing on a lower level on the division, and they're just not ready to play yet. But if he sticks with it, he'll eventually get some talent to build up. But the question is, will he be around to do so, either by his own doing or the universities? And he may get tired of everything that surrounds that situation and just pull the plug. But I wouldn't, because it still brings buzz to the university, and they're doing far better under him than they had done in the last 10, 12 years. So we'll see how that takes place. But getting started to the main point I wanted to make, or the first point, you see the thumbnail, you had a juxtaposition there of Kyler Murray and Jacoby Brissett. The Cardinals, they have talent all over the place, but for whatever reason, the offense, they don't tend to hit on all cylinders, at least when Kyler Murray is running the offense. And a lot of it has to do with his size. I mean, you can't quite see down the field the way a taller quarterback can, and he also gets a lot of passes batted back into his face. Now, he has more escapability than Brissett, but at the same time, Brissett has some escapability of his own. But the bottom line is that offense is running a whole lot better under Brissett than they ever did under Kyler Murray. But Kyler Murray is a big money quarterback. He's getting paid as the number one starter. And to have Brissett take over is not a good look for the organization. So it comes down to this. Do you really want to play a beauty contest, or do you want to go with the person that is helping you perform on all cylinders? Now, the biggest difference I see between Brissett and Murray is the use of Marvin Harrison. He can't seem to get the ball thrown in his direction when Murray is the quarterback. And this is supposed to be your top draft choice. Why not put him to work? Well, you see, when the guy gets an opportunity to play, he can play. That is not to say that Murray hasn't tried. He's dropped some passes and he just struggled. But the way he looked last night, that's no longer an excuse. You got to feed the man the ball. And it'd be interesting to see because the coach, Jonathan Gannon, said once he's healthy, he's going to come back. Will Murray keep the same functionality of the offense when he returns? And I doubt it. I've been paying attention to this guy. And, if you don't remember, he's the guy pretty much got Kingsbury fired from Arizona. He had a meltdown on the sideline and he come off to me as a crybaby. If he don't get his way because he's so used to winning, and when he don't win, he just don't seem to be able to handle it very well. And I think that permeates throughout the locker room. And so I called him Kryler Murray. And first time I ever mentioned that publicly, but yeah, in my mind, I call him Kryler Murray because that's just the way he comes out. Now, whether he's that way all the time, I don't know. It's just the image that I think when I see him, I call him Kryler Murray. But he's a good player himself, but there are some limitations that he has. And if you're not going to use the weapons that you have, then maybe it's time to look somewhere else. All right. But just like with the Browns and every other quarterback, everybody wants to see what the backup looks like. But when the backup gets in there and the backup plays better than the starter, now is reason to talk about it. And that's the situation that you have with Arizona. But they put a whipping on Dallas last night. And I don't know if you can say that was a great feat because, the Dallas Cowboys defense is beyond horrible. If you're flying into Dallas, they have to go around the southern edge because the stench is so strong coming from the north end. You got to come in from the backside and land on the back end of the runway because there's too much turbulence from all the stink coming out of Texas Stadium. So I just think that the Cowboys need to do something. They're talking about, because the trade deadline is today, they're talking about making some trades. They're supposed to announce a trade already, but even Jones has admitted that, hell, you need to trade the whole damn defense. He won't come out and say it, but because they're playing so bad, one or two trades is not going to help that group. Well, in some ways, I disagree with that because one or two players can make the difference. And if you get the right two players, that can make a difference. You get a pass rush, that'll make the defenders play a little bit better on the back end. But if they got time to throw, any quarterback, if he's got time to throw, he's going to kill you. And the longer the guy holds the ball without being molested, the greater chances he's going to complete a pass because you can't cover but for so long. All right, Michael Wentz. When Ohio State ran through everyone in the playoffs. It's going to happen again, but more aggressively. I disagree there, Michael Wentz. Only thing you really got to hang your hat on is the victory over Texas because everybody thought Texas was so great with the coming of Arch Manning. But I told you guys, Arch Manning wasn't all that. He hadn't proved a damn thing. And then when he played against Ohio State and what's his name, Patricia, he didn't look so good. He didn't look good at all. Well, he played well the other day. He finally played a good game on this level. Kudos to him. Now they're talking about how great he is again. But Arch Manning, he's not ready to do it. And that is the only thing that you got to hang your hat on. And I don't think Ohio State can stop the run and the pass from a team that can do both. And right now, if you got a quarterback that can throw the football, you can beat Ohio State. Now, having said that, and I know you don't want to hear this, Selmo and the rest of you, but for whatever reason, you guys put so much emphasis on that Michigan game, both sides, that when you lose one or two, then you don't function quite well because all you can think about is beating that other team. Well, instead of going out, relaxing, and playing the game, you get so tight that you don't function very well. That's why a subpar Michigan team could come into your house, plant a flag on your field, and knock you off because you're too tight. And because they won the last couple games, what's it, 3-4 now? If you go in there tight again, they might just knock you off because they got a better team than they were last year. Not saying that they're great, but they got a better team than they had last year. That defense is better. Well, the defense is about the same, but the offense is running a little bit better than what they last year. So if they can beat you last year on the road with what they had, no quarterback, no offense, they can beat you again this year. So now if you go into the big house and you blow out Michigan 20, 24 points, then I say that you could probably go through the playoffs aggressively, but then that can backfire on you too, because you're thinking, well, we beat Michigan and that's been our last stumbling block, and we ran through them. We're going to run through everybody in the playoffs. Right now, I'm telling you right now, and this team is getting stronger. Texas A&M. You're going to have to beat Texas A&M. I don't care who you are. And when you compare the way that Texas A&M is going to run through Texas and the way that Ohio State played against Texas, then you're going to see what I'm saying. And it's like that. Selmo says NFL trade deadline today. The Browns are buying, not selling. What are you going to sell, Selmo? You got nothing to sell except for Myles Garrett. You can understand his frustration when you get, 5 sacks in a game, you still get beat by 3 touchdowns. I can understand that, but he knew when he signed that contract that he wasn't going to have a great team. So the only question now is, who's the real starting quarterback? I mean, Gabriel, he's trying to get better, and we haven't seen Sanders yet. And I wonder if we can, okay. I like this. How you doing, Mr. Caressly? It's easy to talk about who can whip who. Now, I'm not saying that Texas A&M will blow Ohio State out, but you assume because you won the championship last year, and who did you blow out in the playoffs last year, other than Oregon? The only reason you beat Oregon the way you did because Oregon completely lost the offensive momentum. They didn't get it back until the third quarter when they were down by 30 points. But the same way Oregon started was the offense was the same way they ended with. So take that away, who have you blown out? Now, you also bring up the point of the way college football used to be. You're up here in the Big Ten. I'm down here in the SEC or over here with Clemson on the ACC. I'm the best in my area, knowing that I probably don't have to play against you, so I'm going to say I can beat you, knowing that you're no threat to me. So for you to sit here and say that you can blow out Texas A&M, I don't agree with that. But I also can't prove it until you get those 2 teams on the field. But the difference is, Mr. Caressly, is you can't hide anymore. Ain't no more going to the Rose Bowl and playing against a Pac-12 team that don't exist anymore, pretty much. You can't say, I'm going to win this one game, and I don't have to play the other team and still be the best. You can't hide anymore. So when you say you're going to blow out Texas A&M, you better be ready to prove that. You don't know how to play. And I just going to have to disagree with you. But I like that confidence you have in your team. But like I said, when you play Michigan, you're going to be tight as this right here. And if you can't loosen up and play some football, you might just get knocked off. And it's not that you make the playoffs, it's where you go in the playoffs. You can get a tough draw, especially as that number 1 seed. You take a bye, and you get the team that come in there that's hitting on all cylinders, and you've been sitting around a while, i.e. Oregon, then you'll see what I'm talking about. But A&M getting blown out by Ohio State, I do not see it at all. All right, well, I'll tell you this, Miami's not going to playoffs with the way you guys are playing. Okay, that's not my team. I am more partial, and I'd be transparent. If the college team that I like USC. Yes, USC be beating around the bush. I'm well aware of that. And they lose games that they shouldn't lose. I'd be first to tell you that they had no business losing to Illinois after Illinois got beat by 50 points the week before. There's a lot of hurdles out there for all these teams. Nobody has a clear path to winning the championship. Whoever you are, you're going to have to play. And I like it like that. So, but Miami is not doing very well, but Miami still has the speed and talent to be dangerous. They're kind of like Texas. They're dormant, and you just don't know what they're going to do. It's like walking by an alligator. he might snap at you, but a crocodile is guaranteed to snap at you. Alligator, he might not. In Miami, sometimes, hell, they act like alligators. You don't know what the hell they're going to do. All right? But I'm interested to see who are on the borderline to making these playoffs. But right now, I would say out of the SEC, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Georgia, for sure. Big Ten, Indiana, Ohio State. Right now, I would probably put USC probably right on the borderline there. Everybody's in love with Notre Dame for whatever reason. Notre Dame's going to be in there. And I think Memphis is the other team that they're talking about, the non-Power 4 bid. The one that Boise State got last year, they're talking that Memphis might be the team to get that. So what's that, about 9 teams I named? So what's left? The ACC, the champion, got to be the only reason you get a team out of the ACC. And the Big 12, Texas Tech is dangerous, but Texas Tech is just a little bit too light right now to be a serious threat on the national level. But I will tell you this, that guy Cody Campbell with those deep pockets, he's willing to pay. And it's like at the turn of the last century, the powers were established. The new powers are being established now with this NIL. And as long as they got those deep pockets, they're going to be able to pay. This guy here is Boone Pickens before the NIL. If NIL was around when Boone Pickens was putting all that money into Oklahoma State, they'd be a player too. So keep your eye on Texas Tech for the future, but not so much this year. But they got the money to go and pay to get whatever they want. And they're going to be a player moving forward. They might just end up being the top program in Texas. Longhorns got those deep pockets. And poor Texas A&M, they just can't get away from there. They left to go to the SEC because Texas dominating everything, and then they got that Longhorn network where they didn't want to share any profits with anybody. It was basically overshadowing everybody in the state. So they ran over to the SEC to get their own little identity and build from there. And look who follows right behind them. So I need to check on this, but I'm not sure. Can somebody tell me, does the Longhorn network have anything to do with the SEC network? In other words, what did Texas have to give up as far as the Longhorn network to be a part of the SEC? Because the SEC didn't need Texas. Texas needed them. So that'd be a question I'd like to have answered. But Texas A&M got deep pockets, but Texas Tech got some really deep pockets. And as long as this is a free fall and no real rules, Texas Tech is going to be a player. But right now, they're just not strong enough. But to me, they're probably going to end up in the playoffs with the Big 12. And I think that's 10 teams. And then you got a couple of teams on the fringes there. I forgot about Oregon. They're going to be part of the Big 10 right now. So that would be about 11. And somebody from the SEC, probably either Tennessee or I don't think Tennessee is going to make it. But Tennessee is an option. And maybe Miami if they can get it together. But right now, Ohio State's got that clear number one because the win over the so-called big bad Arch Manning in Texas. To me, he's still a glorified high school quarterback. He just got a big name. And because he got a big name, he got a chance. Call it nepotism on the college football level. But you got to go out and play. So I'm asking you guys, do you think Ohio State, are they clearly the best team? Well, the committee is going to tell you tonight that they are. I don't know if they're keeping a point system like they did with the BCS, but it doesn't matter. They got that win over Texas, and you had all year to get ready for that game, and Texas laid an egg, so you got to give Ohio State credit for that. Plus, that was the second time they beat them within months, so you can't deny them that spot right now. But there's other teams nipping at their heels, and you're talking about number one. Hell, they might not be the best team in the Big Ten. Because regardless if you want to believe it or not, that Indiana team is real. You can't get to that quarterback. I don't see how you can stop them. They're going to put up 30 points on you. They may not score 30 on Ohio State, but they're good for 21. And if they can get enough stops on Ohio State, because that offense, they got that guy Smith, but he ain't no world breaker either. I've seen him tighten up too. Um, Ohio State can be beat, and I'd be interested to see just how they do when they play against Michigan. That's the game I'm looking forward to this year. How will they perform against Michigan? If they are super tight, and that let you know that they're probably not gonna last very long. But if they go in there and blow out Michigan, because they got something up their sleeve after what happened to them last year with that flag spiking on the field. I thought that was great. It reminded me of what Baker Mayfield did when Oklahoma went in there and knocked them off. I thought that was great. He talked trash, he backed it up, and Oklahoma came in there and played, man. And I like to see, especially when you have teams that play that don't rarely see each other, and they have epic matchups like that. That's what makes college football good to me. And with this new way of scheduling games, you're now starting to see more common matchups between these traditional powers because college football has become more like pro football. Other than you staying over here and claiming you the best, and I stay over here, I'm claiming I'm the best. Neither one of us can hide anymore. Eventually, if you're the best team, I want to run across you somewhere. And I say, let's get it on. But anyway, I got to get up out of here, man. Got these kids running in here, bell about to ring. My little 20, 25 minutes in, I'm good. Like I said tonight, the rankings dropped, and everybody's anticipating Ohio State to be number one, but who has the other spots is what people are waiting to see. And I got an idea about what's going to end up in the end, but I'm going to keep that to myself for now. But if there's some breaking news, I'll come back on later. If not, I catch you guys in the morning. And I hope you all have a great day. Last look at the poll. Most of you think that Ohio State is still the best team. For now, yes. But it's like a marathon runner who's starting to get cramps. And you got people chasing you. Will you have enough to make that final kick to the finish line? And I don't think so. And who's going to beat them just yet? I can't tell you. When I see the brackets, and I can tell you who's going to win the whole thing. But right now, Ohio State's number one, so let's give them their credit. All right, have a great day. I'm up out of here. Selmo, keep eye on them Steelers. As soon as you think we're dead, what do? You take the so-called number